Good morning, everyone. It's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. So today we are going to play around with the Sunrise Sailing bundle, and we're going to play around with the new in colors. I actually was looking at the new in color pattern paper, and I thought that it just made a beautiful background for this particular bundle. So we're going to look at how to create these cards. I have 3 cards here in front of me. So those are the 3 cards that I will walk you through. But then I have 3 additional cards that I created. So I'll share all 6 of them with you. But I'll just kind of show you how I used this paper to create that kind of sunset look in the background. So good morning, everyone. All right, so let's move into these cards here. So these are the cards that we're going to create. And before I get started, I'll show you the bundle that I'm using. It is called Sunrise Sailing. So it is one of the online exclusives. And so it has all these great images in it. But there is a, whoops, I have a embellishment on my hand. Hold on. Starting out with gems all over the place. So it does have a coordinating die set, and there's additional little sailboat dies in this particular set. And so that's what I'm using are these little die cut pieces to just kind of decorate the cards. But I want to show you the designer paper. So this is the designer paper that I'm using. So these are the new in colors. So you have the Darling Duckling. Let's see if I can remember them all. Timid Tiger. This one is Secret Sea, which is actually what the card base is. And then you have Cloud Cover and no, Strawberry Slush. I keep saying Sweet Sorbet. Strawberry Slush. All right, so those are the colors, and I just thought it made a really cool background for the sailboat. So this is one of the patterns, kind of the painted stripes it reminds me of. And then the other pattern, excuse me, the other pattern that's in here is kind of has little splatter marks. Maybe you can see it better this way. So these are the 2 different patterns that I used to create the cards that I'm going to share with you today. There's additional patterns on the back here, flowers and leaves. Obviously, we're not using that side, but I just wanted to show you the pattern paper that I'm using because that really makes these cards just so cool. So, all right, so let's get started. I'm going to set some of these aside. Let's just start with this one, I think. So all of the cards, I think all of the cards have Secret Sea as the base of the card. So that's what this is, Secret Sea. And for this particular card, I just started out with a 3 by 4 inch piece of white cardstock. And then I had a bunch of little scrap pieces of designer paper. So that's what kind of prompted this particular design. So I just basically took these little scrap pieces and I layered them on this white cardstock. So I just have I keep saying, what is it? Strawberry slush. Yes, I keep saying sweet sorbet, this reddish pink one. So you just kind of layer them on there like that to create your background. But I'm going to do a little bit of stamping here. I got to move some stuff out of the way. So I'm going to use Secret Sea. And I'm going to stamp on this little cloud cover piece first. So I'm going to put a little scrap piece of paper behind this. So one of the images in this particular set has like this, I'll stamp it so you can see. It has like what do I want to call it? A ripple or a ripple type image. Somebody help me out here. What is this called? a ripple, I guess. So that's what I'm stamping on that cloud cover one. So I did that with all of them. I stamped that, that little water image on there. So let's go ahead and adhere these pieces. So the fun thing about this designer paper is, the pattern that's on there is what, like I said, what really makes these cards a lot of fun and just gives that really cool background. And so um, you don't have to do any coloring. You just have to cut up the designer paper, which I like. I like to create quick and easy cards that just are really pretty. I think it is. All right, so let's get these on here. We're going to put all these in a row. So don't you like it when the pattern paper kind of does everything for you? That's what I like. So we'll add all of these. And so that creates our little background. And I'm going to find here it is, my little best wishes. We're going to stamp on the bottom. So actually I was inspired to create these. I'm going to move this out of the way for a moment. Because this is one of the sets I'm using for my In Color card making club. So if you're in my club, um, you got a bunch of other ideas, and you can also use the ideas that I'm sharing here. But that's what kind of inspired me to put this together for you guys today, because I just had so much fun creating with these new colors. All right, so now I'm just going to put these little pieces together. I have some die cut pieces here from that Sunrise Sailing bundle. And we're going to create this little sailboat. So there's two different die cut pieces here. I just wanted to kind of show you what they are. This one's Secret Sea, and of course the sail itself is in white. And you just adhere these two pieces together to create your little sailboat. So that's all there is to it. And then we'll add some dimensionals on here. So I actually snipped my dimensional very small to add to the bottom of this sailboat. And then I just added two other dimensionals, two little ones on each sail. So that's how I adhered it, just to give it a little, a little depth and dimension to this card. So let's add this. And then we'll just put this right down in that little ripple, whatever it's called. I should have looked to see what you guys said it was. All right, so let's add this little bird image. I'm just going to use Secret Sea, and we'll just stamp the birds on here. Just stamp it right on the pattern paper, and then we'll add our little cloud. I got to grab some dimensionals. And we'll just kind of add the cloud off to the side. So it's quick and simple, and it's just really cute. I just love that little background. So this is a great card really for any occasion. You could make it birthday, you could make it whatever you want. So that's the first card. That's how simple that is. Let's look at one in the landscape style. So of course this is the portrait style. But then I wanted to use some bigger pieces. I wanted to do it in landscape style. So that's what this one is. And so for this one, we have a bunch of different pieces here. Actually, I'm going to move this out of the way so that I can put all the pieces here. So this time I cut longer pieces of pattern paper. So we started with, if this is a 4 by 5¼ inch piece of white cardstock. And then each of these pieces are just 3/4 inches wide, and they're 5 inches long. I don't even know if I told you what the measurements were on the other one, but we'll get back to that. And then this last piece, again, I'm going to stamp that water image. Let me just grab it here. So let's put that on the bottom piece. And I'm using the Secret Sea to do that. And so now it's just a matter of adhering all these pieces to this white cardstock. So I just start at the top and then just kind of work my way down. Let's put this orange one on next. And then we'll do the yellow. And then we'll do the cloud cover. Yeah, these really are quick and easy cards, but they just look so cool. They look like you spent a lot of time creating these little pieces. You know, it kind of looks like that painted stripes stamp set, but you didn't stamp them. It's just already done for you. So now let's add our little greeting to the bottom. We'll do a little congratulations on the bottom. And then we'll add this to our card base. All right. So that's the basic background. So now we're just gonna create our little sailboat. So this time I'm using a little bigger one. So in this bundle, there is actually I'll show you. There's two different dies, one for creating this larger sailboat like I have here, and then there's a smaller die, these two dies for creating the smaller sailboat, and then there's actually another sailboat. So you have lots of options. But we're just going to add some glue to that sail, and then we'll add this on top. And let's see if I can scoot that over a little bit. And let's go ahead and add our dimensionals. So we'll put, this one's a little bigger, so I think we're going to have to put two on here, one on each side. And then we'll put some dimensionals on here. Wait, one more. All right, and then we can put this little sailboat on there. Okay, so let's put this on here. It's going to go right about here. And then let's add our birds. And so again, you're just stamping right on that pattern paper. And then we have our cloud. So we'll put a little dimensional on there and add our cloud. And there. Another just really quick and simple card. And then for this one, I think I added a couple little in color pearls. These are the in color flat pearls. So I'm just going to use the cloud cover. That's the color that I'm using. We'll just add those on there. So how quick and simple is that? It's just so fun. I just love this paper. All right, so this is the second card idea. And then the third one, I just kind of created like this nighttime scene. And I did one in, this one in portrait style, and I have one in landscape style too. So I'll share that one with you. But for this one, we have a bunch of different pieces here. I'm going to move some stuff out of the way. So the first thing I did is, I cut a piece of white cardstock. So this is just 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then I cut different pieces of the pattern paper. So this one is 3.5 by 3 1/4. So 3.5 by 3 1/4. So this is Secret C. And then the bottom piece is 3.5 by 1.5. And so that's going to go down on the bottom here. So let's go ahead and add that, that water image again. We'll do that quick. We'll add this right kind of up towards the top here. We'll add that. And then this time I put the greeting right underneath it. So we'll just add the greeting right underneath that image on this little piece of cloud cover. All right, let's get this out of the way. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and adhere these pieces. So this time I'm using, as you can see, a different pattern. So instead of using, you know, the stripes, I'm using this more splatter kind of pattern. So we'll put this up there for kind of the night sky. And then this piece will go right underneath it. So we'll add that. And then I cut a piece of that Darling Duckling. And this, I used the Stylish Shapes dies to create this circle shape. And I actually just let the die hang off the end because I didn't want a full circle. I just wanted to be able to kind of line this up towards the bottom, you know, towards the bottom piece here. So I wanted it to be, I don't know how to explain it. Well, you can see it. So I wanted it just to kind of be straight instead of a full circle. So that's what I did. All right, so we're just going to add this on here. And we'll add it so that it is flush with this cloud cover piece. If you wanted to do a full circle, you could, and then just adhere this piece over the bottom of your circle. That would be fine too. All right, and then for the boat, I just cut 2 pieces from Secret Sea to kind of make the boat darker. Instead of adding a white sail, I'm just adding a darker sail so that it just kind of looks like a silhouette, I guess. And then we'll add some dimensionals to that. Let's add one of these. And then we'll just add one of these. Oop. There we go. Okay, so let's add this little guy here. And I'm going to bring him down a little bit. And then we'll add some birds. We'll add those kind of off to the side here. And my cloud. I lost my cloud. Here it is. Here's the cloud. Oh. And now I got to cut my dimensionals. Hang on a second. Out of dimensionals. And then we'll just add this little cloud over on the side here. And then we'll just add this entire piece to our card front. So, and by adding it to the Secret Sea card front, it just really brings out the colors. Just a really, I don't know, this is just a really pretty card. All right, so that is the basic design for that one. Let me move some of my ink here so I don't get it messed up. All right, so that is the third card. So let me bring these back so you can see what they look like. So these are the 3 cards. So you know, like I said, these are created with that striped pattern paper, and then this one has more of the speckled or splatter style paper. And then I'll show you the other cards that I created. So I created this night sky kind of card in portrait style. And then I also just turned the card and created kind of a similar design in landscape style. So basically, the concept is the same. You just change the measurements of your designer paper. And I'll get all these out for on the blog for you guys, all the measurements and stuff. But I just thought it was just a really fun way to use that paper. And then I created two additional cards using, instead of the stripe paper, using that speckled paper, the kind of more solid color instead of the stripe color. But it's the same concept. I just kind of layered the pieces and then created my little scenes. So basically, all the cards have a very similar scene. You can see I stamped the water, added the birds, the clouds. So it's all kind of similar. And then here is the sixth card. And this time I just ran a piece of white cardstock straight down the front of the card. And I can even tell you what the size is if you want. It's 3.5 inches. So the white piece underneath these colored pieces is 3.5 inches wide. It runs the full length of the card, so it's 5.5 long. And then you just add the different colored papers on there and decorate it how you want. So let's see if I can move these and get these in view for you guys. I think I can get most of them in view. There you go. So that is what I wanted to share with you. I just have been having a lot of fun with this particular pattern paper. And um, on Wednesday, I think was it Wednesday? I don't even know. I don't even know my days anymore. On Wednesday, this past Wednesday, I shared a fun fold card, kind of a step design with you guys that featured this particular set. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. That featured this stamp set and this designer paper. And that's what kind of inspired these cards, along with the fact that I made similar cards for my in color club. So, all right, you guys. So, those are the cards I wanted to share with you. And I know someone just asked what I'm using. This is the bundle that I'm using, Sunrise Sailing. So, it has a die set and a stamp set. So that is the bundle, and all of the backgrounds for these cards come from the 2025-2027 in color pattern paper. So if you get the entire in color pattern paper pack, you'll have all the colors that you need to create these backgrounds for these cards. So, all right, so I hope you enjoyed the cards. I hope they inspire you to play around with this set. If you have this set, this is a great way to use it. A very simple way to create a very colorful background for the sailboats. So, and I will get all of these cards, like I said, out on the blog for you later today. You'll have all the measurements and everything that you need to recreate them if you want to. So, all right, you guys. So I hope you have a wonderful day and a great week. It's going to get, I guess, up to about 100 degrees here in Wisconsin. So it's going to be pretty hot. So I'm going to stay inside, I think, and craft. So if it's going to be hot by you guys, stay inside. Stay inside, stay safe, stay cool. And I will see you guys again next week. So take care, everybody.